always enjoy the opportunities to give these on Wednesday night. Make us think a little bit, maybe. Use some current events. The one I'm going to use tonight is, how many of you have seen the video of the Baltimore mom, where Junior was at the riots throwing rocks at the police, and Mom saw him on TV and goes down and basically beat the brakes off of him right there on national TV in front of God and everybody. If you haven't seen it, when you get home tonight, go to Google and watch it. It's not being held up as an example of child abuse in this instance because he was throwing rocks at the police. But it was exactly what needed to be done for the benefit of that young man, and something that is not done enough today. He was held accountable for his actions. And if you of course, there's 3 or 4 different versions of it. If you go to the right one, you can see when and he's got his hoodie on and his mask, but he recognizes Mom, and Mom recognizes him. And he drops his rock because he knows that he's fixing to be held accountable. So we as Christians are going to be held accountable. What are we held accountable for? We're held accountable for what is on 2 Corinthians 9, 6 through 8. He who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. So let each one give as he purposes in his heart, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loves a cheerful giver. We'll be held accountable for what we own. Accountable for what is said. Matthew 12:36 says that we'll give an account of every idle word. Every idle word. Let that sink in. Every idle word. One of the reasons why I pray for forgiveness multiple times a day. One of the reasons. Every idle word. What is thought? But I say that Matthew 5:28, I say that whoever looks at a woman and lusts after her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. In today's media, you can't hardly turn the TV on without something sexual being thrown in your face. We are be held accountable for what is not done. James 4:7, of course, you've got sins of omission and commission. Responsible for what is not done. James 4:17 says, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. We're going to be held accountable for that. When we know to do good and we don't do it. We are even told in 1 Thessalonians 5:22 to abstain from all appearance of evil, where we might not be doing something wrong, but it could be perceived that we are doing something wrong, which gets back to, this is my opinion, to guard the reputation that you have. Abstain from all appearance of evil. We're responsible for what is done. 2 Corinthians 5:10, for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ. Each one may receive the things done in the body according to that which he has done, whether good or bad. James 2:24 says, you see then that man is justified by works and not by faith only. Justified by works and not by faith only. And this is just a little tangent here, a pet peeve of mine. They talk about baptism being a work. For the engineering types, Blake is mechanical, the work done on a system. When you go down into the baptistry, you're not doing a work. Work is being done on you. So it's 180 out. It's not a work. It's a submission to God's will. The baptism part is, but you see then that man is justified by works and not by faith only. James 1:27 tells us, pure and undefiled religion before God and the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unspotted from the world. Matthew 25:35 says, for I was hungry and you gave me food, I was thirsty and you gave me drink, I was a stranger and you took me in. I was naked and you clothed me, I was sick and you visited me, I was in prison and you came to me. We're also responsible or accountable for how that work is done. Who is wise? James 3:13 through 18. Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show by good conduct that his works are done in the meekness of wisdom. So is it possible to do those works and not get credit for them? Absolutely it is. Works are done in the meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter envy, self-seeking in your hearts, do not boast and lie against the truth. This wisdom does not descend from above, but is earthly, sensual, and demonic. For where envy and self-seeking exist, confusion and every evil thing are. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And everybody knows the little kid song, The Fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. So doing those works in the wisdom, in the meekness of the wisdom, of godly wisdom, will be held accountable how we did that. James 3:13 says, who is wise and understanding? Wait, I messed that up. So we're all going to be held accountable for things. Just like that young man looked up and saw Mama coming and knew he was in trouble. Each one of us will give an account of himself to God, that we may receive the things done in the body according to what we've done, whether good or bad. So it is imperative that we maintain our Christian life to the standard that we have been told to maintain it. If you have not taken part or partaken of the grace that is offered through baptism, tonight is a good time. If you have done something that you shouldn't have, you don't have to leave your seat. But Peter told Simon the sorcerer, repent and the intent of thy heart, forgiveness due to the thought and intent of thy heart. Simon the sorcerer said, you pray for me. So we've got precedence there. If you need the prayers of the brethren, we ask that you come as we stand and sing.